Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Greetings, and this is another Black History moment in Victory Lodge number 23. Please introduce yourself, including the year you served as Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
My name is Clarence K. Chambers. I served Victory Lodge number 23 in the year 1995.
Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
I joined Victory Lodge number 23 in 1987. And upon being raised, I was immediately put in line by Worshipful Master Gregory Proctor. And I was serving headed towards the east in each station when I was briefly interrupted by my work schedule. So I had to drop out, but I came back the next year and went on and served chair by chair till I got to the east. I served in each station except Tyler, Chaplain, Marshal, and Secretary. I touched all other seats. And in 1994, I was elected as a Worshipful Master. And my waist was so small at that time that I had to tie knots in the belt of the master's apron to make it fit. And I served that year, and I didn't take the knots out of that apron until the end of 1995. And I was very proud of the fact that no one had to substitute for me, do any of my work. I learned all my work and was able to perform. And during that year, I'm proud to say that Victory Lodge, they won the jewel contest. And I received honors as Master of the Year in 1995. That was the cherry on top.
This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall where art made a significant impact to you?
You know, thinking back when the 70s came in, and I was heavily into music, listening to music, and Motown began to change over from love songs to social justice songs. And it made me reflect on my life and the community around me. And they came out with songs such as What's Going On, and James Brown had a song, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and it really touched my heart.
What would be your closing statement?
Well, I tell you, when I became involved with Victory Lodge, I was so proud to be in the company of black men, strong black men, who were always willing to give and sign like as I or anyone else was willing to receive. We in Victory Lodge have reached out into the community, and we did things such as Christmas in April, tutoring at elementary schools, and the Bread of Life program, which exists to this day. We give out food to needy families at Ambassador Baptist Church in Southeast Washington, D.C. And I'd like to also mention that our sister chapter, elected number 6, also helped us with that community service. I am a member also of elected chapter number 6.
All right. Would there be a specific mentioning of our past master, Rufus Hamilton.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Past Master Hamilton, Rufus F. Hamilton, he served Lodge in 1973. Today is a 50-year member, and he just had a birthday, which brings him up to the right young age of 92. And he served as secretary and I as treasurer for many years. And I tried to get him to come step down when I stepped down and become emeritus, and he stepped down along with me. However, he insisted on going back as assistant secretary. He just has service in his heart, and we all love him for it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
That's it.
Did you stop?
I'm trying to.
I didn't just push it one time.
You can erase the stuff that's not pertinent. Did you ever
Honestly,
get?
it's not.
Did you ever get in touch with Barton? But you might have to go.
Action.
This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall where art made a significant impact to you?
Well, not so much one incident comes to mind, or moment in history, but I'll always say that the arts have been very influential in my life. Not so much paintings and sculptures, but definitely poetry. You're great poets in the words of inspiration. Your Langston Hughes, your Paul Dunbars. But one particular poem, even though it's not by an African American, it's still it serves as great inspiration to me. And whenever I feel the need, feeling down, feel the need for inspiration, I turn to that poem, and it's Invictus by William Ernest Henley. It's and it goes, out of the night that covers me, black as a pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud, under the bludgeoning of chance, my head bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charred with punishment the scroll. I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul.
What would be your closing statement?
A very wise Master Mason, actually past Master Robert Ellis, victory here. He once said to me, you get out of masonry what you put in it. And I've learned that, and over the years I have gotten a lot of rich rewards from the time, energy, and effort. It's a labor of love, but I feel it hasn't gone. It's been. I can't even. I'm trying to think of the proper words to express it. It's been a very satisfying journey and very fulfilling journey. And I would say that, like I said, for all my other master masons out there, you will get out of masonry with what you put into it. You may not feel that way when you're going through the struggle, but in the end, it makes everything very, very much worthwhile. So definitely, good afternoon and happy Black History Month.
Is there something that you would like to say about our past master, Rufus Hamilton?
That's my secretary emeritus. I happen to have the pleasure of being the worshipful master during his, technically it was his 51st year of masonry, but we still had the pleasure. I had the pleasure of honoring him and giving him his roses, so to speak, during my administration. So, Past Master Hamilton, as you're out there, know that I love you, know that we in Victory loves you, and we'll always appreciate everything you've done for Victory and Freemasonry.
Thank you.
Get it, got it.
Ashton.
Please introduce yourself, including the year you served as Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
My name is Dennis Isaac McCall, and I served 2022 and 2023.
Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
I was raised in 2014 with 9 other cable toes, 2 of them being my sons, my oldest Derek and my youngest son Alex. And immediately when I was raised, I became an officer by being asked to be a junior steward. And from there, I took a fast track for the last 10 years. It'll be 10 years in 2024. I went from junior steward to junior deacon. From junior deacon to junior warden. From junior warden to senior warden. And finally, graced the East. And here I am, 10 years, almost 10 years later. Yes.
Okay. This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall where art made a significant impact to you?
Well, that's easy. The day that President Barack Obama was elected and inaugurated, in his inauguration, I never forget it. I have relatives that came up from North Carolina and other places. And another reason I remember that day was cold as I don't know what that day. But that was an extremely pivotal moment as far as I'm concerned in Black history.
Okay. What would be your closing statement?
My closing statement will be every day is Black History Day. And this statement, which was very profound to me when I became a scoutmaster, and to this day, and that statement is each one, teach one.
Okay. And what would you say about our great past master, Rufus Hamilton?
Brother Hamilton, he will make sure that you get him his money. It don't matter whether you was in the North Pole, South Pole, East or West. Brother Hamilton was going to say, hey, you got your money ready? And a dedicated brother. I mean, he spent well over 50 years coming and not missing a meeting. So to him, I say that he's an excellent example of what Mason should be.
Robert M. Barton. I served as a master of Victory Lodge in the year 1989. And what else?
Okay. Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
Well, before I started as a Mason, I worked at the FA as a pilot with the FA Hangar 6 at the National Airport. And my vouchers were Past Master Sam Clyburn and Past Master Thomas Hallman, who were both members of Victory Lodge. And they talked me into coming into the lodge in 1982. And I served with them along with Carlton Howard, who was the secretary of the lodge at that time. He was a driver for the Department of Transportation. So I saw him frequently because we flew personnel from the Department of Transportation, including the Secretary of Transportation and some of the other administrators. My journey as a Mason, I really enjoyed because they influenced me quite a bit to do things, to learn the camaraderie with the brothers. And I was very active in the lodge until recently, the last couple of years. And I don't know what else I can add to that.
Okay. This year theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall where art made a significant impact to you?
Oh, there are a number of significant impacts, but let me see. Off the top of my head, one would be when Barack Obama made president, and I was active in helping him, trying to help him get elected. And another time was, let me see, my wife made president of the Lynx Ward, Prince George's County Lynx, and she joined the AKAs, and the lodge was my memory. I didn't serve in any particular lodge, and I'm having trouble with my speech right now because I had a stroke last year, a year ago, and I can't speak too well unless I can make short answers.
But you're doing fine with us. What would be your closing statement as past master of Victory Lodge?
Well, like they say, when you become a lodge, you become a better man. And Tom Holloman and Sam Clyburn, my vouchers, to join the lodge, they looked up to me as a pilot, and I was the chief pilot of the FAA fleet of aircraft at Washington National Airport. And I often flew many trips around the world and many trips throughout the United States, carrying government officials primarily. And Sam and Tom was frequently, they were frequently examples of the men that we should be like.
Okay. Also, and what would you like to say about our dear past master Hamilton?
Rufus.
Yes.
Rufus was he was a character, but I enjoyed him. But as the Secretary of Lodge, and in the Grand Lodge, he was an example of a brother to look up to, and the Postal Master for him to count on to do things that secretaries were supposed to do. And I often laugh at him because he was always sort of funny when some of his answers to some questions that he was faced with. And I don't know, that's a good brother. What can you say about it?
All right, thank you so much.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, please introduce yourself, including the year you served as Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
My name is John Jackson III. I became a member of Victory Lodge in 1975, and I became Worship Master of the Lodge, Victory 23, in 2004.
Okay. All right. Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
As I was Worshipful Master in Victory Lodge, I was always trying to see what it meant because of the statement, looking for that light that's shining. And I found it by reading the Bible and reading Masonic books and this and that. I found that light, and the light is the Word.
Yeah. All right. This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you could recall that was significant to you?
When I read the Word, that word was lost, at the beginning of my side.
Right.
But after a period of time, I understood what the word means.
Right. So, during with the arts, I know you said that you liked Nat King Cole, which is one of the favorite musicians, artists. Could you speak a little bit about that?
Well, I learned about Nat King Cole when he first came on TV. I think that was in the 50s or the early. That was either in the 50s or the late 60s. He was on TV, and at that time, black man was not singing on TV, but he was so good in his singing that they gave him 30 minutes time to sing. Majority of the people was given 15 minutes, but Nat King Cole was given 30 minutes. He wasn't not supposed to be there to sing, but he sounded so good singing his songs until they gave him a show. And that show lasted 15 minutes.
Okay. What would you like to say about past master Rufus Hamilton?
Rufus Hamilton is a good man. He's a good man. He know how to deal with a brother. Okay, he's not a person that have an attitude. He's a person that know how to deal with a brother. He's been there for a long period of time, and he's the one that brought me into the lodge.
Okay. What would be your closing statement for Victory Lodge number 23?
My closing statements for the brothers in Victory Lodge number 23 is not that they just go up every Friday during the meeting to be there. They have to learn a little bit more than just from the first to the third degree. And I think if they do that, they will understand Mason much more than a person that just there. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Well, we thank you for your time.
Okay.
That's a wrap. Action. Good afternoon. Please introduce yourself, including the year you served as Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
Well, good evening. I'm Past Master Jeffrey J. Johnson, and I am served as Worshipful Master in 2015 and 2016.
Okay. Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
Well, my journey to Worshipful Master is it comes in two stages, I guess. I had to take a look. I actually have my coin, which is 32 years old, because that's the coin that they gave me when I was raised. But I became an inter-apprentice on February the 2nd of 1991. And I was passed to the degree of fellowcraft on 4/26 of 91 and raised to the sublime degree of Master Mason 6/28 of 91. So that's why I was telling Brother Holmes that you all know me from when I came back, but not from when I was here before. But I was raised in 91. 92, I was the chaplain. 93, I was senior master of ceremonies. 94, I was senior deacon. And I did do the middle chamber.
Okay.
95, I was junior warden, and 96, senior warden. So past master Chambers, Thomas F., was my junior warden when I was senior warden. He was junior warden. But at that time in 96, I made a decision that I was going to step aside, and so I helped Past Master Chambers, Thomas F., get prepared to move from junior warden to worshipful master, because I was going to step away because I had some family issues that I was going to take care of, and so I stepped aside. And subsequently, short time after, I became a single parent. So I stepped away from masonry to raise my daughter. So fast forward 16 years, when I came back in 2013, and I came back, and actually because I was a senior warden, when I came back into the lodge, I could have gone back into the senior warden seat. I chose to go into the junior warden seat. Thought about for a minute going back to senior deacon, but I didn't want to do that chamber again. I did it the first time. So I became junior warden when I came back in 2013, senior warden 2014, and then worshipful master 2015, 2016. So quite a journey.
Yes, it is. This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall where art made a significant impact to you?
That's an interesting question. You know, as you can see, I've been around for a while. So I'm, you know, one of the senior brothers. But when I trace history, my history as well as African American history, but my history in particular, I can always trace my history through a music soundtrack. You know, certain music just sets you in a certain place, sets a certain mood, takes you back to a certain time in history, and so music has been that way throughout for me. You know, I'm an avid jazz fan, but when I say jazz, not the progressive jazz that we listen to now. I'm talking vintage, you know, Coltrane and Miles and those guys. And so, you know, that kind of set me on the path. But music has always had that kind of impact on me, and it always, as I said, kind of sets the stage for whatever's happening, both in my own personal life as well as, you know, what's happening in the world. Music has always been a part of that. So, yeah.
Okay. What would you like to say about our good old past master Rufus Hamilton?
Ham, it's so funny, man. You know, when I came back in the lodge, you know, it's just certain brothers that were just a staple. You know, Hamilton was always up there, every lodge meeting. I don't think until, you know, these recent years, I don't think he ever missed a lodge meeting. He was always sitting up in the seat, you know, doing his work. Always had always great attitude. Always, you know, meet you, greet you. Always glad to see you. When you go over his house and you know, you sit down in his living room, and you know, you talk about life, talk about masonry. So always fond memories. You know, wish we could have him back in the lodge with us, and hopefully, you know, one day soon he can be back with us. But when you think about masonry, and then you think about victory and the brothers that have forged victory to get to where it is, you have to think about past Master Rufus Hamilton.
Okay. And what would be your closing statement?
You know, it's interesting to me, and I meant to pull out my trestle board, but to make sure I didn't make a mistake. But I went back to my trestle board, and I looked at the brothers that I had in my administration, and looking to where they are now. The junior past master was in my administration. The current worshipful master was in my administration. The senior warden sitting right here was in my administration. So, you know, those are all folks that I had a hand in setting their path, and they kept through and followed through with it. So it you know, thinking about history, and as we approach and, you know, move on to Black history, it just made me think. After I had to do a little research so I could share with you my history, it made me feel kind of good that maybe I did a little something in Masonry to kind of set some folks on the path. So.
All right. Thank you so much. Ready?
Action.
Please introduce yourself, including the year you served as Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
John Wesley Joseph. I served as Worshipful Master in 1981 and 2006.
Okay. Tell us about your journey as a Mason to Worshipful Master of Victory Lodge number 23.
I consider it to be very interesting in that since I was a youth in Asheville, North Carolina, we used to observe the Masons parading down Hill Street, going to Hill Street Baptist Church. And I was always impressed with the Masons in their black suits, very dignified and upright men. And I always wanted to be a Mason. So after I was discharged from the service, we moved to Jamaica, New York. And from Jamaica, New York, we moved down to Glenard, Maryland. And my wife at the time, Pearline, who we were married for 54 years, was working at the Treasury Department with a friend, Sylvia Buggs. Sylvia and Pearline was very close, and so we used to visit each other from time to time. Charlie, understand, Sylvia's husband, and I used to always engage in conversation, and for whatever reason, it always came up, introduced by me, that I want to be a Mason. This went on for 2 years, and finally one day in the front yard when I was cutting grass, Charlie came down to visit, and of course we engaged in conversation. And I said, Charlie, I want to be a Mason. He said, do you really want to be a Mason? And he said, yeah. He said, I'll take you in. I said, you have to be a Mason. He said, I am. But I had no idea because he wore no rings, he had no emblems on his car, and that sort. But anyway, he gave me an application. This was in 1974. And I was initiated in apprentice, fellow craft, and then, of course, the Master Mason degree. I was appointed the first year, 1975, as chaplain. And from chaplain the next year, I went to the Junior Master Ceremony. From the Junior Master Ceremony to Senior Deacon. I had 4 months to learn the middle chamber. 4 months, which I did. Wasn't a problem because I was young and I could memorize. But anyway, I did the middle chamber, and the secretary, Fred Jones at the time, said to me after the degree that you only missed one word on the first page. Thereafter, it was clear ceilings. And that was from the senior deacon to the junior warden to the senior warden to the worship master, 1981. Well, I was out of Masons, although I was attending Lord's meetings and things, but I was not an officer other than past master. And I got a call from the Lords, and they asked me, would you be interested in coming back serving as a senior warden? And I said, yeah. And this was in 2005. That's 25 years later. And from the senior warden at that time back to the worship master in 2006, where I served. So that was my Masonic journey. The most amazing thing with this all, when we was living in Jamaica, I was working for the United States Post Office, and we had an apartment on the north side of Jamaica, and I had to take my daughter Donna over to my mother-in-law who lived in South Jamaica. And when we would ride on the bus, she would, on her own volition, begin to sing, I'm Black, I'm Proud, and had the entire bus rocking. And she did it almost every week as I took her every day over to her grandmother to stand to babysit for me while I went to work. And of course, Pearline would pick her up after work and bring it to our apartment. So that was really a joyful time for us to stand during that period. My daughter Donna at the time was about 5 years old. Well, 2 years later, we moved to Glenard and stayed in an apartment for 2 years, and then to this house in 1971. I used to drink heavy, I mean very heavy. And one day I had a alcoholic seizure upstairs in the living room, and I fell out unconscious. And when I woke up, I could hear my daughter Donna saying, "Is my daddy gonna die?" And from that moment, I purposed to stop drinking. And I did. I got in bed for 2 days. Saw the elephants and the snakes and those kind of things on the wall. But I come out and I was drug-free, alcohol-free, if you would. And haven't had a drink since. It's 1971, 72. So a couple of years later, I joined the Masons and, of course, got myself together. And because of the non-drinking and the dedication to the lodge, I got promotions and stand step after step after step up until 21. So that's been my Masonic journey through life, which I think has been blessed.
Okay.
Been blessed.
This year's theme for Black History is African Americans and the Arts. Is there a pivotal moment in history that you can recall that was significant to you?
Any period?
Yes.
Well, my journey, the Masonic Order, that was significant. My advancement through the ranks in the lodge was significant. And during that time, as I was advancing through the lodge, I joined the 7 houses in the Masonic Order, up to including the Shriners. So all those periods, I understand, was very significant to me.
Okay. Anything relating to the arts that was pivotal to you as you was being a Mason or becoming a Mason? Is there anything like, let's say, any musician or any type of artwork that kind of inspired you through your journey as a Mason?
Well, you know, when they started having Black History Week, what the lodge did at that time, and this is years ago, I put together a board that had the past masters of Victory Lodge on, and the present worshipful master, and then the history of the lodge, and then provided the lodge with all of the trusted boards that I had, and that was, we all put on displays with whatever certificates I may have had, and that was significant.
Okay. All right. What would you like to say about our past master, Rufus Hamilton?
Oh my goodness, I can't say enough about the esteem that we have for past Master Hamilton, who was at that time the treasurer for many years as I was coming up through the Mason ranks. And unfortunately, I understand past Master Hamilton became ill, so he don't come out as much, but he's held in high esteem in Victory Lodge number 23. Okay. And plus, past Master Hamilton also was a Grand Secretary, Assistant Grand Secretary in the Most Worshipful Prince Hall Grand Lodge, which I later understand became Grand Secretary. And he served with me along with past Master Bobby Sears for a year or two before they retired from it all.
Okay. What would be your closing statement for Victory
My
Lodge?
closing statements that any brother who witnessed this video vow and stand to work as strong as they can through their various lodges, and specifically Victory Lodge number 23. And the more you put into it, the more you will get out of it. God bless each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you.